Hrbaty serving. Well, if his luck's in, it could be tough for Gaston Gaudio. Well, there's early evidence of the power of the Hrbaty forehand.
And Hrbaty doing jolly well, just slipping a little bit here. You can see the left leg giving way, but righting himself in time, and did jolly well to hit it through the line. Also a very close call at his side of the court, but the ball obviously landing just in. So 3 double faults in his match against Korecha. Generally averages about 3.5 doubles a match, Hrbaty.
So a reasonably comfortable opening service game for Dominik Hrbaty, apart from the 1 double fault.
Yes, he's got the more powerful serve of the two. Another look at Horacio de la Peña, who won those 4 tournaments, one in Marbella, Kitzbühel, Florence, and in Charlotte, North Carolina, between 85 and 93. Also at one time married to Roy Emerson, the great Australian, married to his daughter, but no longer the case. I believe I said incidentally earlier that it was Richard Krajicek's daughter. Of course, I meant to say his sister, who is Dutch, but playing at the moment just casually, perhaps, for the Czech Republic.
Yes, Richard, the son of Czech immigrants to Holland.
Well, he's been foot faulted as Gaudio. He was foot faulted once yesterday. Quite a bit of movement of the left foot. In fact, we kept waiting for the foot fault yesterday. We were centering on Gaudio's left foot, but he didn't oblige, or the linesman didn't oblige, until late in the second set.
There it is. You can see how tight to the line and how he moves it a little. One double fault each.
And he's got one of those service actions that the Argentinians have. Most of them have a much shortened service action, which is fine for the first serve, but it does present difficulties on the second. You don't have quite the rhythm and control.
Both men open up by holding their serve to 30.
What a good gentle start for Gaudio. I think he's had a less nervy start than his quarterfinal against Ferrero.
First ace of the match. And a quick one at 205 kilometers an hour. Fastest serve of the match.
Served 6 aces in his match against Correccia. Took over 2 hours the match, 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Well, we were commenting earlier in the week that they weren't flying the flags of the competing nations over the scoreboard, but you can see the Slovak flag on the right and the Argentine flag on the left. I'm glad to see them back. I'm an old-fashioned sort of guy. I like these traditions to continue. Just inside the line.
Well, an effective controlled cross-court forehand just makes it comparatively easy. Perhaps the ball was a little wider than Hrbaty expected initially. Well, we had a good view there of the Gaudio backhand. It really is a class shot. Initially yesterday he was having problems, but in the end it was perhaps the most telling blow.
The injection of pace from Dominik Hrbaty. Hrbaty leads 2-1 first set. Well, I think that final point illustrates that both men are really settling down, both striking the ball very cleanly.
Yes, it's reassuring because there's nothing worse than feeling awful out there and mishitting shots left, right and centre, which so often can happen earlier on in a match. And of course it's terrific for us as spectators to be watching two players who into their stride pretty early on, hold their opening service games, and certainly nothing mishit here at all. Lovely control by Hrbaty, who in a way really prefers the into-out forehand, where he can really lays the wrist back a little bit more and gets extra power on the shot. He really has got big shots. And talking to Thomas Johansson, the Swede, a few days ago, he was convinced that Hrbaty was the danger man in the tournament just because of the fact that he can dominate opponents. The big thing is, of course, can he continue to do it throughout a match?
Please.
Semi-finals day at the Monte Carlo Country Club. Marian Weider just encouraging his man. He'll be pleased that Dominik Hrbaty leads 2-1 on serve. The winner, of course, to play the winner of the second semi-final, Karim Alami from Morocco against the 8th-seeded Frenchman, Cedric Pierline. Gaudio serving 1-2. Well, didn't deserve to get over that second serve, it has to be said.
No, fortune favours the brave, but that was a pretty tentative second serve. He's the top ranked of the Slovak players, ranked above Karol Kuchera, who's 42 in the entry ranking system. Gaudio, the fourth of the Argentinians. Zabaleta top of the list.
Just wide. Some of the crowd clearly thought it was good from the generous applause, but no doubt that that was an accurate call. It's a wonderful angle from Gaudio and a terrific point from both of them.
The court looking somewhat darker today, which means really that it's not playing quite as fast. They've watered it down quite a bit more, perhaps applied a lot more top dressing as well. Therefore, we may see slightly longer rallies as a result.
And also no sunshine to bake it at the moment. The sea fret is closing in. A love game for Gaston Gaudio. 2-all. What would you, in Scotland, Frew, what would they call this? A mizzle?
No, they call it a, well, in Edinburgh they call it a har. Misty conditions would do, which does slow things down a bit, just makes more resistance for the ball to meet as it travels through the air. And of course greater resistance, I think, in a way suits Gaudio, although he comes from the warm climes. But I think just the way he plays, he'd prefer a little heavier against Hrbaty.
Nope. Played the drop shot very successfully yesterday, Gaudio, against Ferrero.
Yes, I'm sure the scouting that Coach Vida, Hrbaty's coach, would have done would have included to watch out for the drop shot, even from quite a way back from Gaudio. Both forehand and backhand are used for the drop shot. Well, Hrbaty is not being as decisive. I wonder if that's just playing an underdog and feeling that more nervous about things.
See those clouds really rolling down the hills now, and we're in hazy conditions rather than the sunshine of when play began. But you're absolutely right, Prue, isn't it? He's tempering his aggression at the moment. Well, I suppose some people have these reactor light glasses that change with the light, but it must be pretty dark through those.
Still a fair amount of glare, though, isn't there?
First break point.
Well, he lost his serve 4 times against Korecha. and yet won the match. So it's not the end of the world for Hrbaty, should he lose it here.
Cheers.
He had to deal with a 195-kilometre-an-hour serve. Typical of a good player, a more experienced player. 2 good serves when needed most.
Cheers.
Played in Estoril, as we were saying, prior to this tournament. Of course, the tournament of Barcelona generally precedes Monte Carlo. This year it follows it.
Yep, 1 or 2 changes in the calendar as the result of the introduction of the Master Series.
Gaudio.
Second chance for Gaudio.
Well, I was saying earlier that both players are looking pretty comfortable. Well, I thought they did in those first 3 games, but suddenly Hrbaty looking very edgy.
But again, he's rescued by the serve.
Cheers.
Well, Gaudio staring down at the court, just wondering what he can do, but not a lot he could do, frankly. Good serving and just setting up the comparatively easy forehand.
Wide. And a third break point for the Argentine. And there it is, the little clench fist from Gaston Gaudio as he moves ahead. 3-2 in the first set with the break. Dominik Hrbaty, well, if we look at the winner's unforced errors, he can see that he's made 15 unforced errors already. We can have a look at some of them through. Is it simply a question of nerves?
Well, I thought he'd overcome them with that initial introduction to the match, but there's no doubt about it that either Gaudio's got him thinking, or he's thinking about this semi-final. Of course, semi-finalist at the French last year, lost to Agassi. Looked pretty well there too, but in the end ended up playing against Agassi a little bit like this. I thought he might even be able to dominate Agassi. He hits the ball so hard. And then if he takes a little bit of pace off and starts missing shots, of course the court can upset him, and perhaps he may even look up at the sky and think, my goodness, I wish it were sunnier, because then my shots would travel that much faster. I wouldn't have to hit as many balls back against this chap.
Dominik Hrbaty has fallen behind. Gaston Gaudio leads 3-2 in the first set, now with a break of serve. about his drop shots, he plays them when you least expect him to do it.
Which is, of course, the best time to play them. On the other hand, he does play them that far back. You'd think that more players would win points, but he plays them well. He plays them so casually too, very upright as he hits the ball. This is a brilliant bit of consolidating by Gaudio. It's one thing to break the opponent's serve, it's another then to go on and win your own service game.
The little brush on the net cord made life even more difficult than it would have been.
Well, perhaps in time we might have a look at the various backhands that Gaudio's got. The big drive and also the slice, which he actually plays very, very well. I know it obviously upset Hrbaty because it hit the net, but he does use it well.
Gaudio.
Second straight love service game.
Serve 2 against Ferrero. Did not lose his serve against the young Spaniard. Stands a long way back, of course, which gives him time. It does mean he's got to do a lot of extra running, but most of these clay quarters are used to that. Sure, they're born running.
Well, it's a nice day for a sail and a little power boating as well. The boats in the harbour, I hate to think if you totted up the total value of them, it'd be more than a lot of countries' national wealth, I suspect. But there's the disadvantage of staying so far back, because Hrbaty drops that one short and it's double bouncing before it reaches him.
Yes, I'm not sure he meant to, but in the end, of course, it really aided Hrbaty. You win some, you lose some, but I suppose Gaudio maintains he wins a lot more as a result of giving himself more time for the swing. Moves in just a bit for the second serve.
He's just waiting while the ball kid gathers the ball. Gaudio's lead is cut to 4-3, but he still has the benefit of a break of serve. All right, so Fru Macmillan was mentioning, a lovely variety of backhands from Gaston Gaudio, and I think we can have a look at a couple of them.
Yes, I suppose in many ways it's talking against myself, but the one-handed backhand I always think is so much more classical, so much better to watch than the two-hander. And Gaudio showing the range there, the slice, and here preparing for the big drive. You can see getting that right leg nicely across, very correct, and a lovely follow-through. Really does sweep through the ball, and that's why he likes to play a long way back, so that he does have that full swing at it, which imparts, of course, a terrific amount of pace. Timing still essential, though. Timing still the name of the game, whether it's a short swing or a long swing.
Word, please.
So Gaston Gaudio to serve at 4-3. New balls in play.
Cancel. 15.
Now, we're delighted to say that His Serene Highness Prince Rainier, the ruler, of course, of Monaco, is here. It's a rare public appearance for him at the moment. He's not been very well at all recently, so lovely to see His Highness here.
Well, that's pretty good defence, really, by Gaudio, because Hrbaty's hurting now. He feels he's got to get back into this first set quickly. Therefore, he's going to unload. He's really going to try and up the pace, try and use these big forehands particularly. And Gaudio doing well to get to either side.
Oh, wow. We could watch that backhand all day and all night. Classic.
Well, there was a shot about halfway through this rally when Hrbaty really took his foot off the accelerator, and it allowed Gaudio back into it. And what a complete finish. Hrbaty's just got to sustain his courage a little more if he's going to break through, because otherwise he's sending out signals to Gaudio that he is somewhat tentative, and of course the opposition will feed off that. Well, I don't want to labour the point, but again, the defence, the initial defence coming from Gaudio, proving so essential. The backhand slice, what a weapon it is to have, because Hrbaty threw everything at his shot, and yet Gaudio was just able to steer it back.
Now, what he's complaining about is that they're making a lot of noise in the terrace underneath us where they're having lunch. Well, Gaston, you'll get used to it over the years. You know, you can't interrupt the French when they're having lunch, for heaven's sake.
He's obviously not gastronomic, Gaudio, is he? Gaudio should have tried playing at the Royal Albert Hall in London and at Olympia when they were busy eating, because champagne corks popped, and of course indoors made that much more noise. Real test of concentration. Otherwise, he's got a lovely casual gait in between points, Gaudio. Sort of a thoughtful movement about court.
The unforced errors really mounting for Hrbaty. Look at that, 3 times as many. Set point for Gaudio. Well, it was a magnificent rally, but the wrong choice of shot from Gaudio.
Yeah, sometimes the drop shot denotes tiredness, and a rally of, well, it was either 27 or 29 strokes. Perhaps there was just a little bit of tiredness, but we know he plays it well, but such a risky time to play it at set point. You know the other chap's going to have his roller skates on. He's going to move that much more quickly. He's
just out. Great effort to get there, because that was a wonderful little drop shot.
Yes, this must have really tested the Hrbaty stomach muscles, because going one way and then having to break and turn the other, he deserved a little bit more. If it was a dive, I think he'd have probably got 8 out of 10, but of course he'd have hit the concrete. Good style, but just out.
Hrbaty.
Oh dear, now through. Normally I never criticise someone for closing in on the net, but don't you think he'd have done better to back off and play that off the ground?
Yes, I think he was committed once he started coming, and I think it was very difficult for him to break. But anything would have been better than that.
Yeah, made himself play a very difficult low volley, as we saw from our net cam.
Well, a little clenched fist by Hrbaty after winning the point. He'd put heart and soul into it. Still not as destructive as he can sometimes be.
Oh, well, a beautiful return followed up by another one of those fabulous backhands. Juice for the 4th time. Horacio de la Peña urging his man on, 2 points needed for the set. Oh, these are classical rallies. This has been by far the best game of the match.
Crowd that have seen great clay court tennis here over the years and really appreciating this. You just wonder what effect this might have late in the match for Gaudio, because Hrbaty's moving him around. He's having to cover a lot of territory. Should it be a 2-setter, it wouldn't bother him too much.
Don't go into the backhand, I think, is the advice.
Well, such terrific counter-punching. Just taking a bit off it perhaps, Hrbaty, but it wasn't a bad approach. And look how quickly he was into position, and really whipping through it, accelerating through the shot, and breathes a sigh of relief.
Second set point after a 21st unforced error from Hrbaty. a great point until the final shot, but well done for Hrbaty because he came into the forehand.
Yes, and Coach De La Peña there, just trying to get all the signals across, but of course can't coach from the side of the court. You've got to try and be telepathic. A poor forehand though by Gaudio, trying to be too fancy.
Well, a rare backhand error. This game already lasted over 10 minutes. Set 41 minutes. Second ace from Dominik Hrbaty. And he holds for 4-5. Dominik Hrbaty wants the sunshade on the other side, but even if it doesn't salvage the set, and it may well do, Gaudio's got to serve it out. As you were saying, that may prove very significant if this becomes a 3-set dogfight.
Yes, brings his own thermos onto the court with him, but it may well prove very effective. It may well prove very important in this next game. When you think that Hrbaty on his serve has lost 20 points, including, of course, a break of serve to Gaudio, as his thermos flask, his own concoction of drinks. Could be isotonic sort of drinks, which help you and have a sort of delayed action, but help you in the event of a very long match, as opposed to just pure water. Gaudio, on the other hand, lost just the 3 points on his serve, but of course this is the big one.
Another look at His Serene Highness Prince Rainier of Monaco. The Grimaldi family have been the ruling family here for several centuries now, haven't they? I'm trying to remember. 2 years ago, was it, they celebrated their anniversary?
Yes, I believe they actually came here in about the 900s from Genoa in Italy.
Well, his last 3 service games, he's conceded 1 point. He would love to keep that sort of average up. A lot of people coming in a little bit late. Well, it's 3 o'clock, you see. Lunchtime is finished now in France. They've had their cheese, they've lingered over the coffee and the cognac. Settling down for a little tennis.
Cancel. 15.
Let off lightly. Must be breathing hard.
Clever, that really was. And again, it's that backhand slice. Ken Rosewall would have been proud of that. You can't speak any higher than that.
Well, I tell you what, it's a sort of shot that gives you goosebumples, because he was way out of position, and in the end he made poor Hrbaty. Well, he's going down on his knees to him. Please, please, don't do this to me again. That's painful, and it's good. And pointing to De La Peña, that's the shot you told me to use, coach. Wouldn't surprise me either. De La Peña, as I was saying, married previously to Roy Emerson's daughter, and of course the backhand slice, so much used by players of the Emerson era.
Dominik Hrbaty's been up to the net to towel off, having slipped over.
30.
Well, the quality of the play has improved so much in the last few minutes that even the sun has decided to rejoin us and have a look at the end of this opening set. Isn't that nice to see? Well, this time we've got to take our hats off to Hrbaty for some brilliant defence. 5-4, 30 all, one of those moments where you know this could be so crucial to the course of the entire match.
Well, it was worth the wait as far as Gaudio was concerned.
And he has set point for the third time. Of course, the big difference, this one is on the Gaudio serve. Well, that's a sad way for the set to end. Two poor service returns from Hrbaty from 30 all. 6-4 to Gaudio. It's strange, Fru. I mean, you sense when he got it back to 30 all that Hrbaty was on the verge of breaking back crucially, and yet Gaudio would have loved those last 2 points. He only had to get the ball into court and that was it.
Yes, in a way I expected Hrbaty to try and do it with one shot, but of course where Gaudio did so well at 30 all was get the first serve in, and he did that very successfully in the first set. His first serve percentage pretty high, nearly 70%. And of course that just takes a lot of the unnecessary energy spent by those who miss their first serves. It just saves a lot of energy, and with all the running that he had to do, very essential. I think the story of the set really was Gaudio's defense and Gaudio's backhand. He really played some beauties in difficult positions to get back into the point and then unleashed the drive backhand to finish it off.
The first set statistics. Hrbaty not serving well enough, far too many unforced errors. Gaudio much more consistent. And of those winners, 4 were backhand winners, even though he uses the forehand to try and finish off points. So Gaston Gaudio continues to surprise us. Gaudio's first set serves the direction, mixing him up, and 1 there into the body. The opening point of the second set.
Civil pass, love 15.
Caught, of course, during the intermission after the first set, swept. The lines cleaned, broomed actually.
Let's first
Well, he's, I was going to say majestic, but let's not overdo it. But he's certainly dominating proceedings with that backhand. He gets into position, he plays one cross court, and then gets into position so well to hit it down the line off the very next shot.
Yes, the backhand of Gaudio continues to dominate the dominator. 2 break points, start of the second set. Well. I wonder what odds you could have got against Gaston Gaudio getting to the final at the start of the week. I would have thought we were certainly looking at the hundreds to 1. And yet at the moment, he looks very, very good for it. It's very early, of course, in this set, but a set and a break, and the way things are going, Hrbaty doesn't seem to have an answer.
Well, they would certainly have said, who? Would you spell it for me, please? I'm not sure whether we've actually got a tennis player by that name, but he's proved so effective. And more than a handful for Hrbaty.
See, getting a good percentage of first serves in. No aces, he's not going for it, but what's really impressive is the points won behind both first and second. Anything over 50% of your second serves won, that's terrific. 88%, it's exceptional stuff.
Just to show that he's not one-sided, of course, which will irritate Hrbaty. But this is when Hrbaty's at his most dangerous. He was a set down against Karecha. He was a breakdown in the final set, I believe, against the Spaniard. Foot faulted again. But fortunately, the first serve not too severe.
Well, once again, it's this ability to play shots under pressure on the stretch. It's just outstanding.
Well, I was saying Hrbaty is dangerous when he's behind, and sure enough, just firing away, but he was successful doing it against Karecha, and Gaudio is showing again that quality of defense, the counter-punching that has been so effective in this match. The Topper, incidentally, they use a clothing company in South America. They used to sponsor a whole lot of South American tournaments in Buenos Aires and Montevideo and Uruguay.
What a rare venture to the net, and perhaps not the right time to do it. Hrbaty giving Gaudio a taste of his own medicine, forcing him to play a very low volley.
Well, the two-hander down the line, so effective, of course, because it's the shortest route. There's more territory to hit into cross-court, so more time for the opponent to run it down. It could yet be a very effective shot for Hrbaty. I've seen people like Agassi and Kafelnikov use it so well.
For the first time in the match, it's a break point for Dominik Hrbaty. Oh my word, he should have taken advantage of that chance.
Yes, it was a 30 love that he went to the net and lost the point, and frankly he ought to have lost it there too. He doesn't want to change a winning game by now going to the net too often. Second chance for Hrbaty. Another foot fault. Foot fault number 3. Well, a turning point, that's for certain. And I think a combination of two things, the slight change of tactic by Gaudio, and then of course Hrbaty's determination to get back into it, the extra freedom that he feels because he's down in the match and feels there's not as much to lose, and therefore can go for it. Exactly 1 hour. Second double fault from Dominik Hrbaty. Well, both players playing down the middle of the court until that attempted slice down the line. Kind of an unnecessary addition, really. So much more effective use of the serve there. Fairly pacey, but opening up the court.
Dominik Hrbaty coming on strong just when he needed to. He's turned this set on its head. Having been a breakdown, he leads 2-1 as he turned the match on its head. Karim Alami, who'll be in action, of course, a little later. Quite a character is Karim. He became a dad earlier this year. He'll of course be playing Cedric Pierlin in the second semi-final. He's probably just getting ready for a little hit, perhaps, thinking that maybe this one will now go to a third set.
Yes, he's probably thinking at the moment, of course, about the television camera on him, and that he doesn't fluff his tying his shoelaces. But generally speaking, of course, wondering who he's going to be playing, who perhaps he would most like to play of these two.
I think he's enjoying it, don't you? Karim Alami, yes, he was having a sneak look at himself on the monitor, giving one or two of our female audience a little bit of a treat. Does nothing for me, but super guy. Meanwhile, back on the centre court, Gaston Gaudio finds himself behind now in this set, 1-2. First ace of the match, and his fastest serve as well.
And his second ace in 3 matches. Hrbaty had played 101 games coming into this semi-final, and I'd mentioned earlier that Gaudio's 79 was the least by any player through to the semis.
Second double fault.
Well, I mentioned Hrbaty's effectiveness serving out wide on the right court to Gaudio, and Gaudio using that kicker that Alami, the chap we saw in the dressing room there, used so effectively yesterday in his match against Albert Costa.
So Gaudio holds. His Highness Prince Rainier has been joined now by his son, Prince Albert.
A little clenched fist there by Hrbaty, almost indicating that he feels this is a particularly important part of the match. He's got to steam ahead here.
Gaston, 15.
Oh, wow. It's just so sweet because it's so effortless. I mean, it's just timing.
Gaston, 15.
Well, it's classical, isn't it? I was saying that Hrbaty needed perhaps to use his two-hander down the line. But when he uses his, there seems to be so much more effort. Well, there tends to be with the two-hander, whereas with Gaudio, it's just smooth.
Gaston, 15, 14.
Gaudio with a chance to restore his advantage in this second set.
Well, the wide serve again, very effective, catching a little bit of the inside of the line and shooting away from Gaudio.
Well, Horacio Delapeña would have loved to have seen his man take advantage of that break point. He's had a lot of chances. Hrbaty clinging on, another marathon rally.
Well, a little like Kuchera, a fellow countryman who has real problems with a high ball toss, so often has to catch it and serve again. Not the time, though, that Hrbaty wanted more trouble with it. Another break point.
Yes, first signs of frustration from Gaudio. You heard him.
It's a real aberration because it was missing the sideline by quite a while. I think they may be missing a ball, and Hrbaty wondering where all the balls are.
Hrbaty.
Well, that's a very important game for Hrbaty. 3 break points he faced. He clings on and leads 3-2 in the second. Prue, you mentioned the high ball toss of Hrbaty on the serve. You couldn't have a bigger contrast in serving styles between these two men.
Yes, Gaudio on the right here, much more truncated, much abbreviated swing. You see he takes it away through about waist height. Fairly high ball toss. On the other hand, Hrbaty's got a much higher ball toss. We can't see the apex of the toss, but it goes, I would say, 2-3 feet higher than Gaudio's. And a much simpler action from Gaudio. He doesn't get the pace that Hrbaty has, but then he gets a far better serve percentage. And as a result, does save quite a bit of energy, perhaps even frustration. On the other hand, I suppose the ability of Hrbaty to serve the occasional ace is probably a little bit more frustrating for somebody who is not able to do it. Depends on which way you look at it. Hrbaty's serving percentage so far, 47%, and Gaudio's 71%.
For once I'm speechless about those spectacles.
Sunflowers, I suppose. She's making a spectacle of herself, though, isn't she?
Well said, sir. Quickly back to the tennis before we get ourselves in terrible trouble. Gaudio serving at 2-3.
Cancel. 15.
There's that kick serve again. Of course, the means to combat it is to try and stand in close, take it before it really reaches the top of its bounce.
Oh yes. Well, that's more like it from the Dominator.
13.
See the high bounce, and they're taking that one, as I was suggesting just a little earlier, before it really gets up high and is difficult to control.
Count 14-15.
Second ace from Gaudio, and what impressed me there is that he's had a great opportunity in the previous service game of Hrbaty, 3 break points, missed them. No reaction at all, very positive service game.
13.
Just get the feeling that Gaudio is taking a little bit of a breather here.
Third ace for Hrbaty, and a love service game for the Slovak, his first of the match. He's ahead, 4-3 on serve, second set. Yeah. Do players go through little lulls in the course of matches?
Yes, I think they do, and it's sometimes, of course, it's a lull that they're unaware of, and other times it's an intentional, just a matter of perhaps holding on to the essential parts of the game, which are, of course, their serve. So if he'd won the first point on the Hrbaty serve, a different matter. But perhaps losing the second point, and it was just about then that I thought, particularly the way he played the 30 love point, didn't really give the forehand much attention. It seemed to me he was thinking about the end of the game. Can be a dangerous tactic, of course, because the opponent in the meantime is building up the juices. Another look at his coach, fellow Argentinian, Horacio de la Peña.
Well, the clouds are coming down again on the top of the hill, almost obliterating the view. Meanwhile, back on the centre court, the sun is still out. Gaudio serving 3-4, second set, having won the first. It's 15 love.
His juices don't seem to have really risen. A little bit flat. Gaudio's ruse, if it were a ruse, of just taking a break, not having any disadvantage. Gaudio, I think, just calling for the towel, because in his efforts to get that two-hander down the line, he put his hand on the ground and just wants to rid himself of the sand. You can see a fair amount of, well, I don't know whether we can see here, but earlier he had got a bit of sand up the back of his shirt. There it is.
I think all the laundries around the world must enjoy the clay court season. Yes, right on the line.
I think about 30 strokes in that rally, and pretty quality tennis. Hrbaty just waiting for the opportunity, really, to bring the big forehand into play, waiting for his opportunity to be able to angle it. The one shot, of course, he misses is that Gaudio has is a slice backhand, something to really hit short. He either has to play a drop shot or a short angle two-hand across court with power, but he doesn't have the little slice which can bring Gaudio in, seeing that Gaudio stands such a long way back.
It's interesting, isn't it, Fru? We see it so many times, and a really big point, 3-4, 30 all, and suddenly a player who never dreams of serving and volleying does so. Courtside photographers. Yeah, for once the backhand down the line was a little snatched.
Only the second deuce on the Gaudio serve. All the time he was broken.
The moment for Hrbaty to strike a point to lead 5-3. Got it. Hrbaty will serve for one set all.
Well, I get the feeling it's a slow war of attrition here, and that Hrbaty's wearing his man down. Really strained efforts to get to some of those balls by Gaudio. A little shake of the head as he prepares to return serve.
Cancer, 15 all.
Well, that's the most successful play against the drop shot so far by Hrbaty. In the past, he really hasn't been able to get the full force of his two-hander here, but quick into position. And he'll be ruining playing a drop shot there, Gaudio.
Oh, there's always an extra element when one of them's at the net.
It certainly does create much more exciting tennis, doesn't it? And look how close to the net Gaudio is here. He's camped all over it, and of course that's pretty essential, closing in. You give the opponent the lob, but you commit yourself fully to the volley.
A little break there as Hrbaty's ball toss went awry, and we'll start again.
13-14.
A chance for Gaudio to break back straight away. Brings the white rabbit out of the hat again. Perfect drop shot. And Gaudio breaks straight back. But Hrbaty still leads by 5 games to 4. Well, this match fascinatingly poised. Meanwhile, in the locker room, Cedric Pierline looking remarkably relaxed. Doesn't seem to be interested in the tennis at all. What's he reading? Paris Match, I think, with a picture of Princess Caroline on the front of Monaco, with doing some charity work. Well, that's one way of relaxing, isn't it? Catch up on all the gossip. It really has bubbled up, this match, in the second set.
And Gaudio's got a real cheek, hasn't he, playing these drop shots on big points. But of course, technically on the backhand side is another look at Horacio Della Pena, the coach of Gaudio. Part of the strategy too, we're talking about Hrbaty perhaps being a little stronger in the end, but the drop shots create a lot of running for the opponent.
Well, Gaudio's broken back, but he's still got a hold serve. And why we've got a slight delay here. I don't know what it's all about. Oh dear. Well, I was talking about the long lunches, and you see, it does make you a little soporific, you know, particularly a few glasses of champagne. Now that Lawson, of course, supporters and sponsors of the Masters Series.
That sounds like a magnum for you. I hope you give me a glass. Full of it, I mean.
4-5. Gaudio serving to stay in the set.
Well, it worked. I wasn't sure whether he's playing a drop shot or just bringing Hrbaty in. It seemed more likely the latter, because if it were a drop shot, it was a very poor one.
Doesn't work this time.
It's so important if you play that backhand slice. Of course, you've got to keep it low. You've got to make the opponent hit up on the volley. And Gaudio getting that one pretty wrong.
He's not won many points at the net, so that was a rare bonus. Gaudio holds, draws level from 3-5 to 5-all.
Couldn't be more even, really. Breaks of serve each, two of them, and they've each lost 14 points on their serve in the second set. Great contrast to the first, of course. Gaudio untroubled there, and he lost 5.
No, he's not going to get there. You know, I think through we're going to have to get our super graphics people, Gigi in particular, to get us a, whenever Gaudio's playing, the number of drop shots played and the ones that are successful.
Well, Gaudio going up to check the mark of the serve. A little late in the day. By Graf from Sweden, unimpressed, or perhaps impressed with the linesman. Well, Hrbaty looking strangely hesitant. I know it came off the line, but he wasn't really in position anyway. It looked as if he had chosen to play the one-hander.
5-all, 30-all, another one of those huge points.
Very tempting here for Gaudio to go for it, but he hasn't really played that sort of style. He's got to, I think, get involved in a rally. Rather squandered a pretty powerful first serve, 203 kilometers an hour. Unforced errors creeping up. Not the time for them.
Hrbaty going for his towel. It's been a long game, this one, and a crucial one. Third double fault from Hrbaty.
Yes, he may have come to grips with his racket handle, but certainly hasn't with his serve.
This game has been in progress for 6 minutes. Not only exchanging shots, but exchanging chants now, it seems, because both trying to encourage each other.
Brilliant counterpunch there by Hrbaty, because the Gaudio shot couldn't have been much better, just inside the line. Taking a slightly wider stance in the first over.
And finding the angle he was looking for. I don't think it was an ace. I think there was an outside edge on it. 6-5 Hrbaty. Well, a few moments ago we were showing you Cedric Pearline very relaxed in the locker room. I think we can now show you Karim Alami. Well, you can't get more relaxed than that, can you? Have a little nap, Karim. I think, though, he's a little too hyped up to have a kip at this time. Understandable.
It's an awful situation, because you don't know whether you're just about to go on court or whether you've got to wait another whole set. Could be 3/4 of an hour later.
Everybody taking a deep breath as we reach the climax of this set. Gaudio, the coach of Dominik Hrbaty, has been stretching his legs. His man leads 6-5, second set. Gaudio trying to force the tie break. Oh yes, that's the perfect riposte.
Well, it's a perfect retaliation, the drop shot to the drop shot, and has it done any damage to Gaudio? It may have done a bit to his mind. Hoist with his own petard, and also a little bit of a leg stretch from Gaudio in the left thigh, I believe, after this. The right thigh took the pressure, but he stretched the left just after this.
Oh yes, there's the perfect riposte to the net rusher.
Well, Hrbaty showing the other side of his game, a drop shot in reply to a drop shot, and a lot of touch on the lob. Perhaps this is the answer rather than sheer power that he usually uses.
Dominik Hrbaty has set point.
13-40.
Oh, it's so clever, and it's once and all.
Set 7 games to 5. Set break.
An hour and 45 minutes, and we'll go the distance in the first semi-final. And you really do think that this man has begun to wear down his opponent. Gaudio's walk back to the chair was a very slow one.
Yes, Gaudio tends to walk very slowly anyway. In a way, it impresses me because he doesn't seem too rattled, but as you say, the walk did seem a rather heavy and laboured walk. And Hrbaty perhaps doing here what he did against Karecha, a much more difficult man, perhaps a stronger man than Gaudio and Marian Vaida, and really thrilled.
Whoa, yeah. Don't think much of his table manners. Of course, he knows he's going to have to wait another half an hour. Hrbaty with the advantage of serving first in the final set.
Well, if he is feeling just a little wary, it'll be interesting to see just what Gaudio does about it. Does he play more drop shots? Does he tend to go for his shots a little bit more, trying not to get into extended rallies? Or does he just collapse in a heap? Unlikely, of course.
Oh, Hrbaty very pumped up.
First game, final set.
Starts the third and final set with a love game, just his second of the match, and a key game coming up, I suspect, for Gaston Gaudio.
You might be interested in Hrbaty's racket there, 93 square inches, strings it with polyester, 28 mains and 26 crosses. It's a Fisher racket. You can see the 3 triangles for the Austrian company. Gaudio, on the other hand, uses a Wilson, 95 square inches, has his main strung at 24 and the crosses at 23, so more loosely strung, therefore giving him a bit more power than Hrbaty. Hrbaty doesn't really need soft rackets because he takes such big swings at the ball, looking for extra control, therefore tight up. Foot faulted again, and not too pleased with the Vance Gaudio.
And he's broken a string, I think, with the big thwack of the racket, and now he's got a warning for unsportsmanlike conduct.
I thought it was in the third. I got my string.
Gaston Gaudio saying he thought he was still playing the point. I think that's a bit of a tall story. Second serve, love 15.
Love 13.
And he needs an injection of concentration here, because he's lost 8 straight points, including the last 2 of the second set.
Gaston, 15-13.
Oh, the perfect lob and the perfect combination. But notice that Gaudio is stretching again. I have a feeling he's got a left thigh problem.
Yes, a lot of stretching after this. The sort of tactic that the great Santana used when he won this tournament in '66, went on to win Wimbledon that year. The drop shot and lob.
Count 13-14.
Chance for Hrbaty to take an immediate lead in the second set. Oh, he's in real trouble. That was agony when he served. I think the left thigh is gone. He's got real problems. Now, Gaudio is walking slowly towards the umpire's chair. Surely he's going to ask for the trainer.
Hrbaty même pas 2 choses à 0. Leads 2 games.
He needs the trainer immediately. That's the request. Now, of course, in the old days, if you had cramp through, you couldn't bring the trainer on. I remember Patrick Rafter, oh, you can see the reaction, losing a match, cramping up terribly to Sergi Bruguera at Wimbledon. Now you can. Cramps, you're allowed to get treatment. The question is it just cramps, or has he torn a muscle stretching for that drop shot?
Yes, I think it's cramp, really, because I think had he torn a muscle, he would not have been able to play as he has been playing. And of course, the reason they allowed people to come on for treatment for cramp was that there was always the possibility of a lawsuit, particularly in the States. Well, it's likely to be there, isn't it? If something untoward and more serious happened to a player as a result perhaps of cramp or whatever, they felt that they were under pressure to allow the trainers on no matter what.
And that's interesting, isn't it? I hadn't spotted that, I confess. He'd had it strapped before the match. So clearly it's been a problem. But
He's starting now, or? Yeah.
He's saying, give me the 3. That means give me the 3-minute injury timeout. Per Bastholt is the trainer. He's a Dane. He's actually the physio to the Swedish Davis Cup team as well. And of course one of the full-time trainers on the tour.
Yes, so a preceding injury then, and therefore I'm wrong, not cramp. But he seemed to move pretty well. Of course, cramp tends to come and go. You can see the thigh there in his left leg, the bandage in his left leg.
We're told it's an abductor muscle strain. Whatever it is, it was clearly very, very painful when he went up for that serve. Been giving some pain-killing tablets as well. Oh, such a shame that this match should be affected in this way. Horacio de la Peña looking on very anxiously, of course, the coach, because this match really had bubbled up to be quite exceptional.
And of course the thought is that, I mean, he could play on and perhaps win this, but in what condition would he be for the final? And in many ways, I hate to say it, but in many ways it would be better, really, given that Hrbaty is in good shape, that Hrbaty went on to win this match, because this can only get worse. I mean, he's not going to suddenly have a miracle performed on him overnight. It's obviously something he's carried over since yesterday.
And we've had quite a few finals affected in recent years here, haven't we, by injuries?
Injuries and also players coming into them. I remember when Pierlin, in fact, played Moya, he'd had a real hard semi-final against Beresategi, and frankly had no real stamina and no real almost courage left, certainly no appetite for a final, and Moya won pretty easily.
The abductor muscle just below the left groin, we understand. Well, he's not going to take the full 3 minutes. He's decided he can play on and gets a big hand. Of course, Dominik Hrbaty must keep his concentration, mustn't be affected by what's happened to his opponent.
Well, of course, Gaudio is likely to be going for his shots that little bit more. There's no reason for Hrbaty to change his game at all. He's really been playing a game of many shots and pushing Gaudio from one side to the other. That he should keep up.
So often it happens that it's the man who isn't injured seems to be more affected by the delay. 2 break points for Gaudio. Well, that's an incredible effort from the Argentine. And he breaks back immediately. And we're back on serve in the final set. Well, now, what on earth is going on out there? Because Per Bastholt has gone from Gaudio to Dominik Hrbaty and is giving him some advice. He's giving... Oh, well...
Bit of Eno's fruit salts. Perhaps he had too much Shadow Plonk last night.
I doubt it.
Maybe it's infectious, the abductor muscle problem.
Maybe a slightly upset stomach, but just needs to settle that down.
Meanwhile, Gaudio is on his merry way, ready to serve.
Prince Albert, you just saw there, giving Cedric Peeling some encouragement, talking there to Ronnie Lightgib, the man who used to coach Thomas Muster, twice the champion here.
Well, Hrbaty must be wondering what on earth Gaudio is all about. The guy is screaming with pain. He gets the trainer on and he doesn't look back.
Just past the 2-hour mark, as you can see at the bottom right of the scoreboard. 4:15 in the afternoon is the time. Yeah, winners coming from every corner. Well, they say a wounded lion is a dangerous one.
Yes, not to mention a buffalo.
Well, you can see how the weather is really closing in now. I can tell you the lovely shots of the beach hotel we normally bring you. We can't see the beach hotel anymore, and that's, what, more than about 200-300 meters away. You ever known mist to stop play at a tennis match?
No, I haven't. I've played in it in the Bay Area of San Francisco many a time. It hasn't exactly stopped play.
What was that? A third ace for Gaudio. And another foot fault called.
Well, he's certainly not showing any signs of discomfort at what he was taken, so we can only assume it was perhaps the head or the stomach, I would think, more likely. But Gaudio at the left thigh problem, and of course on the serve it's the leading leg that takes a lot of the pressure, and being a right-hander, it's that left thigh that seems to be bothering him.
Well, now you can see, can't you, how the mist is coming right down on this court. Gaudio holds, it's 2-all. That's a good job these two guys came out in white shirts today, Fru. If they were in the black of Juan Carlos Ferreira of yesterday, we might not be able to see them.
It's eerie, isn't it? They started off so beautifully, so perfectly.
Cancel. 15 up.
Dominik Hrbaty waiting whilst Gaston Gaudio looked at the mark.
He's got this measured tread, has Gaudio, but I think that's his usual gait anyway. Don't detect anything very different in it.
Hrbaty steadies the ship. He'd lost the 2 previous games after the injury timeout for his opponent. Now he leads 3-2. We're on serve. Well, of course, with the enhanced light that our cameras can pick up, you're probably wondering what we're rabbiting on about, this mist, but now you can see there the mist is just coming right down on top of the centre court, and I think we can show you a shot from way above. Now, our cameraman up the top of the mountain is above the clouds. It's quite eerie.
Oh, I think he's looking the other way. That's not in our direction, surely.
I assure you, we are down the bottom of that, those of you at home.
They're having you on, folk.
And that's the view from the bottom, looking back up the hill. It really is quite extraordinary. The sea mist has just rolled in. Marian Vida, coach of Dominik Hrbaty. Well, all sorts of emotions must have been going through his mind in the last quarter of an hour. 2-3, Gaudio to serve, final set. Fourth double fault.
He's averaging about 3.5 doubles a match this year, Gaudio. One of those fellows, many clay court players are similarly placed who serve more double faults per match than aces.
Three break points for Dominik Hrbaty. And he breaks the love, and surely he's not going to let the lead slip away.
Just rubbing the salt in with that terrific return. Gaudio is beginning to feel it a bit more on the serve, in the left thigh.
Gaston, 15.
Well, those of you who know your cricket and the former top-class umpire Dickie Bird, he'd be getting very agitated with the light at the moment.
Gaston, 15.
Yes, people are asking in my ear whether I've ever had a game stop because of the fog. Never because of the fog, because the lights have broken down in an arena. Playing in Sao Paulo one year, there was a lorry went into a pylon and all the electricity in the area went off, so the match was postponed for many hours, went on and eventually led 2 sets to love. Match went into a 5th set, watched by 11 people.
One
One of whom was your wife.
Exactly.
Fastest serve of the match, that last one from Dominik Hrbaty at 209 kilometers an hour. And the Slovak is racing away now. He's one game from a place in the final. Here's Dominik Hrbaty, now with the scent of victory strongly in his nostrils. And well, he served notice at the French Open last year, getting to the semi-finals and giving Agassi a good run for his money, that he was almost ready to make the big breakthrough. This could be it.
And I think I mentioned earlier in the match that if it went the distance, that he would certainly be the favoured player, even though he'd played more tennis coming into this semi-final than Gaudio. He's just that much more hardened. And it seemed to me too that Gaudio was doing a lot of running, of course, at that stage. I didn't know about Gaudio's thigh problem, but in the event that he had that problem coming on the court, being pushed around by Hrbaty is really reaping its reward now for the Slovak. Well, he's still got him going from side to side around the back of the court like a metronome, and of course that's just what the doctor ordered for Hrbaty. Difference in prize money, $100,000, not to be sniffed at, but what can you do about it if you're hurting?
Yet another foot fault called. A 33rd clean winner of the match from Dominik Hrbaty, and the Slovak has match point. Great backhand, perhaps, from Gaudio, who is now walking forwards. I know not why.
Can only be a broken string, surely.
Yes, absolutely right. What a time for it to happen. He's still in trouble, but what a wonderful way to save a match point.
He had 2 rackets strung today for him, but you can see him still feeling that thigh of his and the bandage thereon.
Match point for the second time. Well, all credit to Gaudio, he's still out there fighting. A third match point for Dominik Hrbaty. Well, was it in? Hrbaty's looking, and well, that's deserving of this round of applause. Just for a moment, Dominik Hrbaty thought he was in. Karim Alami sees the funny side of it in the locker room. He thought it was going long, and then he realised it had caught the back of the line, and he conceded the point immediately. Back to juice.
What a classic backhand by Gaudio. He's not giving in without a fight.
Fourth match point, I should say. Dominik Hrbaty wants his towel. Well, a terrific semi-final. May not been the names we were expecting, but they produced for us on the day. Shame that an injury came into play, although I suspect Dominik Hrbaty going into the third set was the stronger man anyway. And having beaten the #1 seed and many people's favourite as well, Alex Corretja, Dominik Hrbaty, there's no doubt he's a worthy finalist.
Yes, Gaudio did so well for a set and a bit, didn't he? A set and a break-up, but unfortunately lost his first service game of that second set. It really showed us some extraordinary talent. And in many ways, perhaps as we look at his mud-spattered shirt, perhaps in the end, the drop shot undoing him, the drop shot that he'd used pretty successfully in his quarterfinal and also earlier on today. But Hrbaty, I think, conserved energy. He was moving Gaudio around all the time, and of course, little did we know it, but Gaudio was bringing an injury onto court. Super tennis, though, and Gaudio, another name to watch, the 4th ranked of the Argentinians he was before this tournament, but he's climbing and will climb a lot further, I think.
The reaction of Dominik Hrbaty getting through to his first Masters Series final. Big moment in the young man's career, just 22 years of age, and in the career of his coach, Marian Vaida. Yeah, deserves that handshake of congratulations. The first semi-final is over. 4-6, 7-5, 6-2 was the scoreline. These were the statistics. And in the end, Hrbaty getting the ratio between winners and unforced errors rather better, and taking 6 of 10 chances as opposed to 4 of 11 chances to break, and by fine margins matches are won and lost. Hrbaty's first serve percentage was also improving throughout the course of the match. It really is extraordinary how the mist has come down. Another view of the obscured cliffs. Just clearing a fraction out to sea, we can now almost see the hotel again. As you can see from the top, we can see down to the centre court again. We can have a look at some of the top moments of that opening semi-final. The moment when Dominik Hrbaty knew he was into the final of the Masters Series event here in Monte Carlo.